And when you see, there's no artist, let me be clear, there's no artist in this industry that's doing major numbers with these platforms that haven't sold their soul.
If you're a halfway intelligent person, when do you start questioning how lucky some motherfuckers keep getting?
Right.
And when you see there's no artist, let me be clear, there's no artist in this industry that's doing major numbers with these platforms that haven't sold. If you're a halfway intelligent person, when do you start questioning how lucky some mother keep getting, right? What if everything you thought you knew about Michael Jackson's final moments was a lie? Picture it. June 25th, 2009. The world stood still. News of Jackson's collapse swept through LA like a wildfire. Paparazzi chased ambulances. Fans clung to radios and television screens. Within hours, the media had a headline: cardiac arrest. A fatal dose of propofol. His private doctor, Conrad Murray, panicked, silent, then condemned. A tragic accident, they said. Case closed. But what if Michael Jackson didn't actually pass away that day? What if the king of pop orchestrated his own disappearance? Not to escape fame, but to escape something much, much darker. There's nothing I can do to take it back. And if someone was hurt by it, saying I'm sorry. Sources close to the Jackson estate have whispered for years that Michael knew something was coming. In the months leading up to that fateful summer, his behavior became more erratic, but also more vigilant. He was reportedly paranoid, convinced that powerful people in the industry were trying to silence him. They're going to end me for my catalog, he allegedly told his sister, LaToya. Later said, Michael told me he was going to be taken out, and I believe him. That wasn't some offhand comment. Jackson was sitting on one of the most valuable music catalogs in the world. Billions in publishing rights, songs from the Beatles, Elvis, and of course, his own. Control over it meant control over the industry. But let's rewind to his final rehearsals. Just 2 days before June 25th, leaked footage shows Michael practicing choreography for the This Is It tour. He looked focused, but the man was clearly exhausted, gaunt, slow to move, eyes sunken. This wasn't the Michael Jackson we remembered from Super Bowl halftimes or moonwalking on Madone 25. This was a man running on fumes. And yet those closest to him say he was terrified of sleeping, not because of insomnia, but because he feared he wouldn't wake up. As you may already know, after my tour ended, I remain out of the country undergoing treatment for a dependency on pain medication. This medication was initially prescribed to see the excruciating pain that I was suffering after recent reconstructive surgery on my scalp. Then came the black envelope, a chilling rumor that's been circulating among former insiders and low-profile staffers since 2010. According to one former Neverland employee, a sealed envelope was delivered to Michael's LA estate just weeks before his so-called demise. Its contents, allegedly, a typed warning from a high exec. Stop talking. Stop investigating. Stop asking questions or else. The handwriting on the outside of the envelope wasn't even addressed to Michael. It simply said the final warning. And that's not the only strange message he received. In his final interviews and private voicemails, some of which were leaked to fringe blogs, but later suppressed, Michael repeatedly expressed that he was being followed. Tapped phones, shadows outside his windows. They're watching me, he reportedly told a confidant during a late-night phone call. I'm not safe. At the time, most dismissed it as paranoia. But in hindsight, as court battles and suppressed files have emerged, his fears are harder to brush off, especially when some of the people Michael was supposedly afraid of are now making headlines themselves for all the wrong reasons. And I'm not saying allegedly. Oh, okay. I'm saying Sean Carter, you're a piece of taking pimp wasn't bad enough. You just want to go down there, and you want to just remove all of the balls from every real gangster in Houston. Enter Sean Diddy Combs and Sean Jay-Z Carter. Two men who dominated the industry then and still do now. Both are currently named in separate civil lawsuits by a woman who alleges she was assaulted in 2000 when she was just 13. While Diddy sits behind bars awaiting trial for federal trafficking charges, Jay-Z's team has launched a legal counteroffensive, one so aggressive that even the judge called it inappropriate. The timing, the optics, the magnitude, it's not lost on the people who are close to Michael. Because those same two names, According to a source within MJ's former legal circle, they were on a handwritten list he kept in his dressing room. A list titled Enemies written in black marker, folded, taped to the inside of his travel case. We're not saying Jay-Z or Diddy were involved in what happened to Michael, but think about it. These are two men with tangled decadecil-long ties to shadowy figures in the industry. They've survived scandals, lawsuits, whispers of manipulation, intimidation, and control. And now, with Diddy's empire unraveling and Jay-Z's legal team drowning in motions, some fans wonder, is this the fallout Michael warned us about? Was the king of pop trying to shine a light on the system years before it started to crack? Puff Daddy flipped out regarding Michael Jackson at a party in Los Angeles. Apparently a bunch of celebrities got together, and they were having a tribute party for Michael Jackson, and one of Michael Jackson's songs was playing. What was the name of the song? A Man in the Mirror. Man in the Mirror was playing. There we go. And you know the celebrities like Queen Latifah, Wesley Snipes, Hill Harper, they were all dancing, having a good time to his music. Michael had always been vocal about corruption in the industry. Remember his 2002 speech in Harlem, where he called out Sony Music for exploiting artists and keeping black talent under thumb. He openly accused former exec Tommy Matta of being devilish and accused the label of blackballing him. That speech at the time was rushed off as eccentric, but insiders now say it was the opening shot of a long war between Michael and the establishment, a war he couldn't win alive. And then there's the money. At the time of his passing, Michael was reportedly facing hundreds of millions in debt. A promotional deal with AEG had him locked into a grueling tour contract. 50 shows, not 10, like originally discussed. Some say he was pressured into signing under duress. Others claim he had no memory of the final negotiations. Either way, once he was gone, the catalog was no longer in his control. And the same people he warned about, they got richer. Guys, they found underground tunnels at Diddy's homes. This was first brought up by a shadow of Ezra, where he talked about the underground tunnels in Diddy's luxurious Los Angeles mansion. It was an underwater swimming tunnel leading to a mysterious grotto reminiscent of an ancient and modern human use of caves. Which brings us to the clone theory. Yes, it sounds absurd on the surface, but former staff at Neverland claim Michael believed he was being cloned, literally. One ex-security guard recalls Michael asking that his personal toothbrush and hair samples be destroyed, afraid that someone could use his DNA without consent. They want to own me even after I'm gone, he allegedly said. Wild maybe, but years later, rumors surfaced about unidentified tissue samples taken post-op autopsy, samples that were never cataloged officially. The family's second private autopsy still mostly sealed. And let's not forget the gaps in the official timeline. Why was it nearly an hour before paramedics were called? Why did Draken Murray spend so long on the phone in the minutes after Michael lost consciousness? Why did the LAPD seal portions of the toxicology report for over a year? And why did Michael's own daughter, Paris, say flat out in 2017 that her father was absolutely the victim of foul play? If he wasn't lost that day in June, then where is he now? There have been unconfirmed sightings, grainy images, strange voice notes, and even a cryptic post from Hollywood hairdresser Steve Hart, once one of Jackson's closest confidants, who teased, "Good news for believers," claiming even the family didn't know the whole truth. That post has since been deleted. There are people who did short sales on their stocks right after that made a lot of money, including Sean Carter. Now, I'm going to ask you, why would non-disclosure agreements need to be signed for an accident? So, is Michael hiding, waiting, preparing to finally reveal what he spent his last years uncovering? Is the unraveling of the industry, the lawsuits, the exposed cover-ups, the crumbling moguls, exactly what he foresaw? And here's where the story twists into something even more unsettling. Because behind closed doors, Michael Jackson wasn't just rehearsing for this, is it? According to whispers from insiders who worked the business end of his career, he was quietly plotting something that could have blown the doors off the entire music industry. We're talking about a revolutionary independent empire. One that would have freed artists from the grip of corporate labels and their suffocating contracts. And who was allegedly at his side in those early talks? None other than Sean Carter. Jay-Z himself. Imagine it. The king of pop and the self-made rap mogul uniting to build an empire so powerful that it could have shaken the foundations of Sony, Universal, and Warner. But here's the chilling part. Just as momentum began building, Michael started to suspect betrayal.
I want you to think about this.
Allegedly, Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up Beyoncé, who is struggling. One industry veteran insists Michael became convinced that his partner in this secret venture was no longer aligned with him. Was Jay-Z playing both sides? Was he feeding information to the very executives